Hello, and welcome to this short guide on using the Audient Studio at Cumbernauld campus. Our aim today is to be able to get a microphone signal into the mixing console, and from there into Pro Tools. We're going to send a mix out of Pro Tools back to the console, which we're going to listen to in the control room, and we're going to send a separate mix for the artist to listen to in their headphones in the recording room. So let's get started. First of all, we want to make sure we've got the correct I/O or in-out settings in Pro Tools. We can choose these when we create a new session by going to this little drop-down menu, and since we're in the Audient control room, we're going to select Audient New Default and click Create. And now we've got a new session with the correct I/O settings for the Audient Studio. If you've already got a session loaded up in Pro Tools and you want to check these I/O settings are correct, or maybe you've moved a session from one studio to another and you need to reconfigure, then just go to Setup at the top, then I/O, and you'll get this window. Here we can recall the same Audient default settings if we like. Just go to Import Settings, load the same preset, and click Open. We're really just making sure here that we've got these two named outputs recalled. One's called DAW output and one's called headphone output. And we can see that DAW output has got a little speaker icon next to it. And that's the main things we're looking for here. Okay, so back to the session. I've created some tracks here. We've got a mono audio track for our microphone. We've got a stereo auxiliary track for our headphone mix. And we've got a stereo master fader. Let's just configure the inputs and outputs of each track. So the microphone in the recording room is plugged into channel 1 of the wall box. This goes into channel 1 of the console, and channel 1 of the console feeds input 1 of Pro Tools. So we're going to select input 1 for the mic channel. Now the main output that we want to use to listen to in the control room is the one called DAW output that we saw in the I/O settings page. So we're going to select DAW output for the mic channel and for the master fader. Next, create a pre-fade send to bus 1 and 2 from the mic channel. And we're going to use that bus as the input of our stereo aux channel, which is going to be our headphone mix. The output of this aux channel should be the other one we saw in the I/O settings before. Headphone out. Cool, so let's find out where these outputs return into the console. These outputs are labelled on the console for you, HP out and DAW out. So pretty straightforward there, and it matches up with what we've done in Pro Tools. So let's deal with the DAW output first. We're going to want to listen to this in the control room, so let's make sure the mix button is pushed in and the level is turned up. Make sure your master fader is pushed all the way up. And the control room pot is the final part of the chain here. It controls the level of the main mix from the console going to the monitor speakers. We're going to leave that down just now. Okay, let's deal with the headphone output and see where that's going. So we don't want to listen to the headphone output in the control room, we just want to send it to the foldback system. So make sure foldback 1 is turned up here. This feeds the foldback 1 section here, so just make sure both Q, A buttons are pushed down and turn up the level about halfway. So let's start getting signal into our mic channel in Pro Tools, and we can route it to the DAW output and the headphone output. First we'll need to get the artist to speak into the mic. To do this, just find your talkback section, make sure artist foldback is pushed in, and turn up the level a wee bit. Use the switch on the onboard mic to talk to the artist through the foldback system.
Hiya, can you speak into the mic for us? Ta.
There we go, they're speaking into the mic. We're using a condenser mic, so we'll apply phantom power to the channel and adjust the gain up so we get a decent level coming in. Next, push up the small fader in the dark grey section of channel 1 to send the signal into the mic channel in Pro Tools. There we go, we can see it's coming into the mic channel. And since we've already routed it out of DAW out, we should be hearing it in the control room. But we're not. We can see the mix is present in the monitor meters of the console, but we can't hear it. Remember we had the control room pot all the way turned down? Let's just turn that up. There you go. That's us now listening to DAW output from the monitor speakers.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1
Let's deal with the artist mix from the headphone out. So going back to Pro Tools, we're going to use that pre-fade send we set up earlier from the mic channel. If we just turn this up gently, we should see there's signal going to the headphone mix channel on Pro Tools. We know this feeds the HP out channel on the console, and in turn, that feeds the foldback system, which the artist is listening to in the headphones.
1 2 yeah, that's good. 1 2
There we go.
1 2
The artist is now hearing themselves in their headphones. I'm just going to import a wee backing track into this session now. Okay, so once it's loaded in and it's got its own track, its outputs should automatically be set to DAW output, so you should be able to hear it in the control room. And again, you can do the same thing here as you did with the mic channel. Set up a pre-fade send to bus 1 and 2, and then just ease it up to send the backing track to the artist's headphones. Okay, that's us for today. Hopefully this video has helped you get started in the Audient studio. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.